It's no surprise what the easiest weapon in Brawl is, at least for most people, since I'm sure the majority of players have the same opinion. I'll go into more depth a bit later, but I know you guys just want me to say it first. So here, although it's no surprise, the easiest weapon in Brawlhalla is Greatsword. On the topic of Greatsword, let's talk about that topic. Now, everyone knows that Sword is one of the easiest weapons in Brawlhalla for obvious reasons. And since Greatsword is essentially a sword, but greater, it's clear to see that Greatsword is simply easier than the sword and therefore is the easiest weapon in Brawlhalla. You can clearly see that Greatsword does not have many true combos. There's a lot of chained moves you can do, but clearly they aren't true, so they're essentially useless and you can forget about them, thus making Greatsword easy to play since there's just so little to remember. It is also a heavy weapon, and as a result does a lot of damage, which is good. So yeah, that's another reason why. For comparison, take a difficult weapon like Hammer. Now, Hammer has a lot of true combos. There's the D-Light series, the GC D-Light series, N-Lights, Side-Lights basically true. Hammer even has 3-hit combos, which are, of course, very difficult as a result of being one more than two. It's for this reason that Hammer is one of the hardest weapons in the game. It is also a heavy weapon, making it very slow, so you have to think really hard about your attacks before you use them, since it's so risky to swing at random. Then we have an easy weapon like Blasters. Now, Blasters does have a few true combos, but they are very easy to pull off. D-Light, Side-Light, D-Light Sair, and the additional D-Light Dare and Recovery combos, those require a dash jump input, which can basically be omitted because they're basically impossible to do. So, therefore, they should not be used in consideration for the weapon's difficulty. Blasters are also ranged weapons, so of course, naturally, by law of being ranged versus melees, Blasters is broken. It's very easy to always keep players out of arm's reach with tiny hitboxes and perfect spacing. That's just baby stuff. Very, very easy to do. Kind of like signing up for my sponsor, Honeygain, to get passive income. Honeygain is an app that basically gives you free money in return for a tiny bit of your internet connection, which businesses that use Honeygain's proxy network can use to gather bits of information, such as price comparison, web fraud prevention, and many more. It's a great way, especially for poor little students like you, to gain a little bit of cash for stuff like Spotify or Netflix subscriptions every month, just for having this app downloaded and running in the background. Honestly, it's not that much, but it can get you cool stuff like mammoth coins. Honeygain does not have any access to your storage or any other personal data. If this interests you, you can sign up using my promo code SHWRPY to get $5 added to your account straight away. Thank you to Honeygain for sponsoring this video. And also, thank you to BMG for adding difficult weapons to play, like Sword. Everyone knows that Sword is one of the hardest weapons to play in the game. It's got so much directional freedom, so you have to really learn how to hit in every direction, It also has a lot of combos using D-Light, a lot like Hammer. However, Sword is special in that the weapon was just so hard that BMG had to actually make an entire move as a failsafe, just in case you don't know what to do at any point in the match. You can just Side-Light and it'll probably work, I don't know. Now let's compare this to an easier weapon like Scythe. Scythe has virtually no combos to remember, so this of course makes it one of the easiest weapons in the game, losing to Greatsword only because Scythe isn't great, nor is it heavy. Scythe also only requires you to do the same read over and over again and hope it works, which is a very simple game plan. I actually think many people overlook factors like realizing the strategy each weapon needs to use in order to win when they determine how difficult a weapon is to play. And not just, how hard their inputs are. I thought it's pretty important to mention that, so you guys don't only think one-sidedly. Here we think very smartly here on this channel, all right? We take things very seriously, which brings us here to our next difficult weapon, Bow. Now, Bow is a ranged weapon like Blasters, but since you have to operate it with your own arm strength, and it definitely isn't as lethal as a bullet, you have to put a lot more work into it if you really want to kill someone. Bow also just has so many combos you have to remember, like all the D-Light combos, and then the ones where the Side-Light is in front of the D-Light, except that's not true at all. But then everything just gets confusing, so Bow is just really hard, Orb runs into the same problem as Bow. It's kind of like, how are you going to hurt someone with something so round? There's no sharp edges, there's no points, nothing that you can stab someone with. I mean, honestly, what are you just going to throw this at someone? How's that going to work? Oh, you control it with your mind? Alright, I see. Well, you know, that's stupid, so... yeah, this sucks. Gauntlets, undoubtedly very easy. With your fists, you have a lot of control. And gauntlets are kind of just like big fists, so you can basically just call this great unarmed. Now the cannon is a literal cannon. It's another super easy weapon because you just go BLAM! Spear is hard. Probably. Wow, what control. You couldn't even touch the ground. Katars are actually just, you know, 2 blades on your arms. So I guess that's just basically gauntlets, but it's sharp, so it's better. So it's actually even easier. It also has basically no combos, so... actually, yeah, I lied. Greatsword isn't the easiest weapon. It's actually Katars, because Katars is basically great gauntlets, since it's like just better gauntlets. So I guess you could call it great unarmed. Which brings us to the opposite side. The hardest weapon in the game is obviously axe.